I'll just go through some basic things with letters and maybe some shapes with Lightburn. So this is what the window will look like when you first open it. It should show these different colours down the bottom, so they're going to be useful later on if you want to do a cut or do a scan or whatever it might be. So let's assume that you want to write some text. So basically you click on the text, you can write whatever you want in there. Up here you can change the size of it, so at the moment it's 25 millimeters, is quite big. You can make it smaller, make it larger. You can change the font size up here by going through and just choosing whatever models that you might want to use. Okay. Move it around. That'll give you an idea as to what size it is up here. So again, if you want to make that smaller, you can also use this option here. That'll make the size of it smaller, but it's probably better just to use the height up here to change the height of what you want it to be. So at the moment that's red, so if I look over here, I can see that red means it's going to cut through it, cut through the item, so I probably don't want that. So I'm just going to change that colour to black. Alright, and then with that colour black I'm going to change it to scan. So what that's going to do here, if I click over here and show you what will happen, that's going to make that all black. Okay. If I want to do an outline of those letters, all I do is I'd change that to cut. I'd change this so that it wouldn't cut through so I might only do one pass, for instance. I'll just double click that. 2 passes, that's fine, so that means it's going to do like an engraving of that. Again, if I click up here, so that's what it's going to look like now. Right, so it's going to do an outline of that line, and you can see it's going to take roughly about 18 seconds to do that. Okay, whereas if I clicked on this and changed that to scan, you can see that the time is going to be a lot longer. Okay, if I wanted to put like I suppose a border around that, I'll just click on my square, drag that out. Right, so it's going to be a square like that. Click on my selection tool, I can move that around. If I wanted to make that the exact centre, what I'd do is I'd select both pieces. All these tools up here will give you options to just change the way that text is. These ones are quite good, so if I want to align it all vertically, that'll make sure it's all perfectly aligned. Same with this one. Alright, so they're good tools to use if you want to make things that they are in the exact spot that you want them to be. If I want to do a cutout of that, so if I just say I want to cut that square out, I just change the colour of it, so I might make it red. So that's given me another option now. And at the moment I've got this set to 3.5 millimeters. That's the speed that the laser is going to travel along. I've got it set to 5, so I've found that 5 passes is pretty good for plywood in terms of getting through. I always set it to 100%. And the other thing that you want to look at is this dead scale means that after each pass it's going to come down, where it's going to tell the laser to cut down that distance. So I've got it at the moment set to 0.8, and that seems to be fairly good. The other thing you need to make sure you're doing when you first turn the program on, it'll always default to 0, so you want to make sure that you change the material height. So at the moment I'm finding that 2 millimeters for plywood is pretty good, so I've set that to 2. This will always be the same because that's that support material that's underneath at the bottom of the laser cutter, and the rest that's fine. So the next, all you would basically do now, actually one more thing you should do before you do this, is just check and see what it's going to do and how it's going to do it. So it's going to, at the moment it's going to draw that in. So if you don't want that, you might need to adjust that again. Let's see how we do this. Scan. So instead of doing scan, I'm going to do cut. Right, so I'll leave those settings all the same. Let's go back and have another look. So that's going to make that a little bit better. So it's going to cut around the outside and it's going to scan that pattern in. Alright, so when you're ready with that, once you're done, you'll come back to laser. It's always good to press the frame button first, because it will show you where it's going to be on the material. And if you're happy with where it's going to go, then you just press start and it'll start to cut.